Hey guys, I'm Lex, and welcome to Words of This Life.
I'm gonna run, and even if I fall, I know I'll be safe in my skin. Hey, hey,
So, at the end of my arrested in a drug sting video, I mentioned that there was another part to this, that I'd been put on probation, violated the probation, and then ended up going to prison. So, that's what today's story is. Please keep in mind that there are drug references and other intense topics that are going to be discussed today, so please do whatever you need to do to protect the little ears around you that might be listening. All right, let's get started. So to pick up where I left off, I was on drug offender probation for drug trafficking and possession. It was a 4-year probation sentence, and basically, I just kept doing all of the same things that I was doing before probation. I even left and ran away to Miami with a guy that I met on the internet and was found by my probation officer, which is an entirely different story time for a different day. But yeah, I just basically still did whatever I wanted to do. So after a number of months of that, I believe it was March of 2005 by now, I went out one night to some bars at the beach and got absolutely wasted. I was drinking and taking excessive amounts of Klonopin and tried to drive home in my roommate's truck and got in an accident. So I don't remember a lot of these details, but apparently I had blacked out at some point and drove directly into someone that was in front of me. It was like 2 o'clock in the morning. There were no cars on the road. So somehow I managed to run into the one person that was on the road with me. Go figure. They told me that I had gotten out of the car and tried to talk to the guy and then got back in my car and fled the scene. I drove about another 5 minutes. I think I was only about 5 minutes away from my house at this point, and I guess I blacked out again because I ended up in someone's front yard in the truck. Now, when the officers asked me what happened, I told them that it was raining so hard that I couldn't see the lights on the car in front of me, and that's why I ran into him. Unfortunately, that was an absolute lie because it was not even raining. So I got out of the car, they had me try to walk a line, and I say try because it was a complete failure, and then they searched me. They searched the car and they searched me, and they found a bottle of pills in my purse, some of which were mine, and it was labeled on the bottle that those ones were mine, but the other ones in there were not prescribed to me. And when they asked me what I was going to do with them or why I had them, I said, drum roll please, I was going to sell them to a friend. So I always thought that honesty was the best policy, but in this case, that honesty got me a possession with intent to sell charge on top of the DUI, driving with suspended license, and fleeing the scene charges that I also got. Now, all of those charges were a violation of my probation, a VOP, because I was on drug offender probation. Drug offender probation is basically if you get arrested again while you're on drug offender probation with new drug charges, or maybe other charges as well, I'm not positive about that, but definitely with new drug charges, you can get sentenced to jail or prison time in the amount of the time that you had left of your probation sentence. So jail or prison depending on how much time you had left on your sentence. So I was taken to jail in my home county, which was different from the county that I had the trafficking and other drug charges and drug offender probation. It was in a different county. So even though I bonded out this time from the DUI, within I think a week or so, I still knew that at any time the VOP, violation of probation, was going to go through in the other county and they were going to come look for me and pick me up. And I don't remember how many days or weeks later it was. Everything is a super huge blur because I went on a really bad drug binge and was basically living on cocaine and Oxycontin. I wanted to go out with a bang because I knew that I was going to get some time. I thought that it was just going to be jail time and not prison time, or I thought maybe a year and a day, which would be prison. Anything under a year is jail time, at least in Florida. Anything over a year and a day is prison. So I thought, okay, maybe a year and a day, but that's doable, right? And then I can get back out and go back to everything that I want to go back to. So I just partied really hard during that time because I wanted to go out with a bang. The day that they finally came to pick me up on the VOP, I was snorting lines of Oxycontin off of a plate in the kitchen. We had our electricity turned off because we didn't pay the bill, and so we had an extension cord running to the duplex behind us where some friends live so that we could have light in our house. I remember I asked them if I could change, and they said yes, so I went into my room and changed and popped a couple of pills and stuck a few of them in my mouth. I remember being put in the back of the cop car. I remember crying. I remember vaguely a conversation that I was having with the officer. He was kind. I remember getting to the jail. I remember being strip searched, where you are completely naked. You have to bend over, squat, cough, pull your butt cheeks apart and cough and make sure that there's nothing that's hidden up there that's going to fall out of you, which is humiliating. And even though they checked my mouth, they did not find the pills that were in my mouth. So shortly after this, I have almost zero recollection of what happened over the next couple of days. What I do know is what the girls that were in the room with me told me. They said that I passed out, that I wasn't eating, I wasn't coherent, but I would wake up frantically to clean the table. That's all I wanted to do, was clean the table. So I would stand up, I'd frantically look around for the table, start trying to clean this table in the air, and then I would pass out again. I also don't remember the day that I was transferred to the main jail area where I was going to have to wait for my sentencing, but eventually I did sober up and detox, and I waited there for a couple of months for my sentencing date. Now, I really thought for some reason that I was just going to get a year and a day. Even though I knew the rules about drug offender probation, I just thought maybe because of how lax they were on me the first time with all of the trafficking charges and possession and delivery and all of that, because I just gotten probation, maybe I thought, well, they're going to take it easy on me again this time. So when I went in for my sentencing, the judge offered me 2 years in Florida State Prison and 2 years on probation, or 42 months in Florida State Prison. Now, for reasons that I can't fully explain, but I'm definitely thankful for when I look back now, knowing what I know, I took the 42 months in prison. And when I got back to the cell that I was in with the other ladies that were being sentenced on the same day, I had the longest sentence of anyone, which is really not that long because I knew people that were in prison for substantially longer than that, and I have friends that are still in prison and will be for the rest of their lives. So 3.5 years was not a super long time, but it was still the longest in that room. The weight of the decision that I had made hit me, and I was just a clueless, just turned 20-year-old little girl who was about to do 42 months in prison. I remember thinking when the judge offered the 2 years in and 2 years out, this is a total setup. If I go to prison for 2 years and then I get out and I'm on probation for 2 years, I am absolutely going to end up back in prison. That's what I was thinking. And so that contributed to the decision, because I thought I have to do whatever I can do to be able to have my freedom when I get out, because I wanted to go back to my drugs. I wanted to go back to all of the ways that I used to escape my life, and being on probation for 2 years did not seem like that was going to be a good option. Now, the better option would have been, all right, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do these 2 years. I'm going to get out on probation. I'm going to get a job. I'm going to make the right decisions. I'm going to change my life. I'm going to something good, right? But that didn't even seem possible. It didn't even seem like an option. It wasn't even a thought in my mind. All I wanted to do was get out and go back to the comforts that I was so used to, which is crazy to think about because my life was just total destruction. Everything that I did brought destruction on myself and to the people around me that I loved and that loved me. So why I wanted to guard that, I don't really know. I wanted to guard that, and so I took the 42 months in, and I know that I called my family to tell them what had happened and to tell them how much time I got, but I don't remember what any of those conversations were like or how they went at all. And I also had no idea what I was in for. I think I very naively thought it was going to be something that was easy to do. And then I also don't remember feeling that anxious about going to prison. And most of that was just having no idea what I was getting into. Now, I'm going to share about my first day in prison and what a rude awakening that was, but I'm going to save that for another video. So I will do another story time soon about my first day in prison and just kind of explain what was going through my head, what was happening around me. And yeah, it was shocking. I was definitely shocked. So that's it for today. As always, thank you so much for watching. Please like and subscribe, and I hope to see you guys around next time on Words of This Life.